Wow. Hello and welcome everybody to SusieQ FitLife and with Autism Fitness, COVID-19, a remote fitness training here. This has been, I thank you all for even waiting and hanging in. Something so simple and just was not obvious to me. So I apologize. Thank you for hanging in there. And for those of you who are watching the rebroadcast of this, then hey, listen, take a breath. You didn't have to wait long. Now, so I am so honored to have Eric Chessen here from Autism Fitness. And I have to give a big thank you and shout out to David for making this happen, for allowing this to happen. So again, forgive us. It's, well, not Eric. He's not at fault here. Forgive me, because this has been quite the run. And we have monthly sessions going on with Eric. And it's going to be happening every second Monday. And you'd better believe it's going to be so much smoother than it was this evening. So Eric, thank you so much for being here and for allowing me to twist your arm so you could be here and provide great information during a time where people need it the most. Now, you are the founder of Autism Fitness.
Correct.
You're brilliant. You have all these major credentials under you, and you obviously have a lot of experience in the autistic community here in terms of your ABA training and therapy and services. Can you tell us a little bit about your involvement, and also at a climate right now where we are faced with a lot of people being frustrated, angry, depressed, being on lockdown for quarantine during this pandemic, and parents pulling out their hair, having children at home and not really knowing what to do. You can just watch the news, you see all of the chaos that's going on. And people have a short fuse. They don't have the patience. And I think that's what's also wonderful and unique with Autism Fitness, because there's so much that you guys have to offer and to share with us. So again, I thank you for coming, and please tell everyone a little bit about you, because I waited so long for this. We want to hear from you.
Thank you for the platform and being able to do it and to connect with your audience. Also, I'll give the quick origin story of Autism Fitness and how I got started in all this. So I started out as a personal trainer working with general population, and even before that, I was a kid who played sports, albeit not exactly at a superstar level. As a kid, I was in Little League Baseball, and it was, still the time in the 80s when we were outside playing and running and jumping on jungle gyms and falling. And my favorite story, as reiterated by my mom about my childhood to encapsulate it, she's told me on many occasions, you used to come home and your leg would be bleeding, and I'd ask you, how do you do that? And you say, I don't know. And that to me is the quintessential, childhood of that era. So after I stopped playing sports, and I stopped because I wasn't competing at a level to make the high school baseball team, or to not sit on the bench during the high school baseball team, I kind of took a movement hiatus, really, and became really sedentary and wasn't doing much. And one day, I don't know, I can't tell you what sparked it. Memory being what it is, I could make something up, but there probably wasn't it was a gradual revelation rather than a light bulb moment. I walked into the weight room in the high school gym and just started doing stuff. I had no idea what I was doing, but I knew I wanted to do something differently in terms of my physical health, my well-being, how I carried myself. And between my junior and senior year of high school, excuse me, I think I lost like 60 or 70 pounds. I mean, it was quite noticeable, not just to the people around me, but I realized for myself, the change and just feeling good about myself. And later I got into martial arts, but weightlifting, and working out and being fit and moving around heavy stuff always became my personal calling card and my personal pursuit. So fast forward to becoming a personal trainer and having just graduated my undergraduate with a degree in forensic psychology, which is a little bit misleading because most of undergraduate was focused on general psychology and just an introduction to criminal psychology. I was in grad school in a program that was very much oriented towards behavior analysis and behavior science. Yeah. And I had a classmate in my behavior science course who said, "Hey, I know that you're a personal trainer, you're in this behavior science course. Would you be interested in applying to work with our program in Manhattan, working with teenagers on the autism spectrum?" And I thought about it, and I had limited experience working with individuals on the autism spectrum. I had some contact with them in summer camp programs, so it wasn't completely alien to me. But never did I think it was going to be a career. At this point, I thought, oh, I want to do something with personal training and with psychology. So I thought, oh, sports psychology, I'll do something like that.
Yes.
But the opportunity presented itself, and I didn't know what to think of it career-wise. By the way, as an aside, so I still have my my index cards from that behavior science class.
In your
the Autism Fitness Boxo concepts. So that's something that I've been doing on Facebook and on our Instagram as well. Every week I go through I randomly select a concept from that class and relate it back to what we do in Autism Fitness. So my classmate convinced me to apply for this program, and I started working with them, undergoing intensive ABA training, along with furthering my both my mentorship under multiple coaches and my further understanding and practice in exercise science and strength and conditioning and in fitness also. And what I will say, I think the most important thing to cover regarding my early experiences with the autism population was I was not working with highly motivated, ready to go, really excited about fitness individuals. I early in my career, I had what I consider the fortunate advantage to work with individuals who did display some severe maladaptive behaviors, off-task behavior, self-injurious behavior, aggressive behavior in some situations. So the major theme and the takeaway from everything that we do in Autism Fitness today is that it has to work for everybody. So those of you parents who are out there or family members who say, "Oh, not my son or not my daughter," they hate it.
Yes.
Those are our favorite athletes, the one whose parents or family members say, "Nope, they want nothing to do with it." I say, "Great, bring them forth," because that's what we do. I think resoundingly well because we have a system. So after I've been working with this population in a fitness capacity for almost 20 years now. So in the last 10 years, I developed a methodology we call the PAC profile, which sounds fun, but it serves an important purpose. Fitness for this population, movement for this population, anything physical for this population cannot just rely on a bunch of exercises. And that's what I think I shared with you early on, is we're not just going to do a bunch of different exercises, because there's more to consider than that. If we come back to that idea of, my son or my daughter of any age is not going to do this, hold on, because we need to start where we need to start. So when we talk about the PAC profile, we're breaking everything down into physical, adaptive, and cognitive. So physical is the exercise. At what level of progression or regression, at what level of challenge is the athlete going to be successful with this exercise? Now, successful means they can do it safely, they can do it effectively, the exercise is actually benefiting them. Because I know, in your world with fitness, you can have somebody do 10 push-ups, but if they can't do it correctly after the first repetition, those next 9 are not really benefiting them all that much, right?
Yes.
So you need this scalability. And so that's the first part. That's the physical. Adaptive is probably the most important aspect of programming for this population, especially in the beginning, and especially for those individuals who Give them 2 seconds and they're going to be, veering off across the room, or they're going to be making a beeline for the door, or they're perseverating on some piece of something on the floor. So adaptive refers to the level of motivation to participate in X activity. So whether we're talking about our bear crawls or our medicine ball throws or our hurdle steps, how motivated is this athlete right now to perform this exercise? And sometimes we get a high rate of cooperation and compliance, or even motivation. They want to do it. Great, awesome. But we need contingencies in place in case that's not the situation. And oftentimes that's not the situation.
Yeah.
And then finally, we have the cognitive. So physical, adaptive, cognitive. And cognitive, we're not just looking at high versus low functioning. And I get so many emails from parents who will give me a little bit of information, but then I have to do that awful thing and ask them for a little bit more, because the question will be, I have a 17-year-old son on the autism spectrum. What exercises should he do?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And I need so much more than that. So cognitive, when we talk, we don't talk in terms of high versus low functioning cognitively. I'm asking it with specific reference to fitness and movement. So I'm asking, at what level of coaching or cueing will this athlete succeed with this exercise? So in the Autism Fitness curriculum, and for anybody I'm consulting with, or for our certified pros, our attendees in our Autism Fitness certification, what we learn to do, what we teach, is to keep the explanation, the stuff coming out of our mouths, at a minimum, and demonstrate. So we use this mantra, this process: label, demonstrate, do, and cue. So label the exercise, tell them what it is, demonstrate it for them, and allow them to do it, and then we'll manipulate what we need to manipulate in the environment so they can do it to the best of their ability. So we do very little explaining and a lot of showing, and then get them on board as quickly as possible. Yeah. So when we're looking at things in terms of the PAC profile, we can program for anybody at a very high level. Look, I can take someone through a full, rigorous upper, lower, push-pull exercise program, no problem. Then I have an athlete who's not even willing to come into the door in the gym. And does that mean that we're absolving them of the responsibility to take care of themselves? Absolutely not. We say, all right, we constantly reiterate in our programming, we are meeting the athlete where they are at. And if that means that they are not yet ready to come in the door, cool, we'll start with that. Now, of course, that's not our end goal, but we're starting where we start, because we know that if given enough opportunities, our athletes will be successful.
Yes. So not putting too much pressure on an individual to
no. Why would we? And it's not to say that there isn't expectation. That's a big part of the program. We have an expectation because we respect our athletes. So once we know what they're capable of, we're going to hold them to a certain expectation. And that, there's a difference between like an authoritarian and do this, do that. We don't drill sergeant our athletes, but we create structure for them, right? And one of the things that I've seen really aid in self-regulation and in decreasing anxiety is our athletes knowing what is going to be expected of them in order to pass go and go to the next step, whether that's a reinforcer, a preferred activity that they like to do, taking a break. But we get into this rhythm of having structure and great things happen.
So what I want to find out from you, Eric, because I know you said that you kind of specialize in all ages. Yeah. So it's not just children. I know that you say that sometimes that's the misconception. Maybe it's because a lot of us parents that have preschoolers, toddlers, kindergartners, and teenage children and young adults as well, is that there is sometimes that lack of communication, especially when you're dealing with a child that is nonverbal and doesn't have the ability to communicate and tell you what they want or what they're thinking. I like this, I don't like that. And you require, I guess it requires you to have, an additional amount of patience on top of the patience that you already have to have. But in order to, for them to have that receptive communication, that language, and I guess following their body language or body cues. And there's a lot of frustration that can build, especially for people on the other side, the parents and other individuals that may not understand what that child is looking for, what that individual is looking for, that young teenager doesn't necessarily have their voice, and still being able to appease them and be able to allow them to release some of that energy, which I will reduce some of the frustration and maybe some of the meltdowns that can occur. You know, and I'm sure you've probably been exposed to some of that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've had my, I don't know if you can see it here, but I still have a few.
Is it your elbow or your arm we're supposed to?
No, I still have a few bite marks here. It's tough.
No, bring it up higher, Eric. We don't see them. I don't even see your arm in the shot.
I have, there's, there's probably a bite mark scar somewhere. Yeah, I think there.
Oh, okay, I see it there. I see it right there.
That's an old one. You know, outside the confines of just fitness, when we're working with someone or living with someone, caring for someone on the autism spectrum, the first thing that we have to consider is this is a human being. And we go with, well, what are the needs of a human being? Well, they need, safety, being cared for, and having a functional way to communicate. And that's a big deal in our program. In fact, we've had, and some of the most fun moments I've had have been working alongside with speech pathologists and speech therapists, delivering the fitness program, but also focusing on functional communication, because there is a lot of movement in communication, and there's a lot of communication in movement. And I'm not trying to get esoteric here. We can validate everything that we're doing, but we get a lot of fantastic speech production when our athletes are moving, and it also gives very concrete examples of what they're doing. So one of our warm-up exercises is we do cone touches. We put cones on the ground laterally, and we have our athletes touch the cone. Now, I may not do this in the first couple sessions with an athlete, depending on how motivated they are and how much productive language they have. Yes. But what if after a while they get really adept with this exercise, and I want to add in some speech targets, so we can go with prepositions like in, on, under, left, right. These speech targets that are traditionally so difficult for this population. And to my way of thinking, I'd rather not do this sitting at a desk and just pointing to stuff on paper or on a pad. I'd rather have it be actionable, because when we're engaged and we're moving, we tend to remember things a lot better. So there are elements of productive speech that we can build into our programming. It may not be immediately. So our first goal isn't 7 goals. Our first goal is 1 goal, to have the athlete perform the exercise. But when I'm meeting an athlete for the first time, I want to make sure that I have as much information about their communicative needs and abilities as possible. Yeah. So that, and with the autism population, oftentimes requests can be escape maintained. So bathroom, 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 bathroom doesn't mean bathroom. It means I want to do anything but this.
Yeah, there are these artists, professional escape artists.
Yep, absolutely. And we want to honor, requests, especially when we have an individual who has limited capacity or limited motivation to produce speech. At the same time, we want to produce the ability to have functional alternatives. So I'll ask my athletes constantly, do you mean break? Do you mean bathroom, or do you want to break? Do you mean bathroom, or do you want to do a different exercises? Yes. So choice is a huge component of our program also. So we have this constant ebb and flow between structure, meaning this is what needs to get done in the program in order for it to have the effect and benefit that we as a practitioner or a professional or a parent delivering that program want. And at the same time, we offer choice, because we know that the more choice someone has within reason, the more likely they are to be on task and actually enjoy what they're doing. So if I have an athlete come into my session for the first time, I'll ask them, even if they've never seen the exercise before, do you want to start with hurdle steps? Do you want to start with cone touches? And what that does, it's this brilliant little trick, because it says without saying that these are the two options. You're going to do one of these first or second. I don't care. I really do not care which one they choose first. But by picking one, that selection process orients them towards, okay, well, I'm doing this now. So we're creating this structure, but we still have the ability to give the athlete a choice over what they're going to do first, second, or third.
And now that they've committed and they've made that choice, they feel like this is my decision. I'm in control.
Yeah, absolutely. The way many other neurotypical human beings would. Now, when we have an athlete who comes into the session for the first time and just flops down on the floor, okay, well, then we have a different situation. But again, we have in our program, what we teach is respecting the athlete and understanding where they're at when they're at that point.
That's probably number one, right?
What's that?
That's probably number one on the list.
Yeah. Is you are dealing with a human being. What is this human being doing right now? And how can we intervene in a way that's in their best interest, but also gets them on task?
Yes, of course. And of course, I hear in the background here, my human being is back too. But I wanted to find out, because there are people who are asking me questions. They're like, you know what, Autism Fitness. It's like, but what if I don't have autism? But I still come in and join, or do I sit in, but I benefit from exercises, and
Yeah, well, yeah, I haven't found, and this is one of the things in my early career when I started attempting to do research on fitness programming for the autism population.
Yes.
Everything was so vague. And I would read something and it would say, fitness is important for all populations, the autism or special needs population included. And to me, it's like, what do you do with that? So we pride our program in having actual actionable steps where someone just doesn't like it on Facebook and says, ooh, that's awesome, that's great. We say, no, you can do this too. Your athletes can do this too. The people you love can do this too. We're giving you a system to do it.
Yes.
So in terms of the exercise, yeah, there's no such thing as an autism specific exercise. If you look at our videos, it's okay, hurdle steps, cone touches, squats, presses, pulls. Like I was down in the gym at, where I live today, and I was doing a lot of the same movement patterns that we teach our athletes, albeit, it's going to be at a different level of performance, but it's still basic human movement.
Because the human body is the human body. The human body is still going to
exactly. Arms, leg, torso, head.
Yeah, you're going to release the endorphins. You're going to still benefit, and it's going to make you feel good in the end. It's still a form of accomplishment.
In terms of the exercise benefit for the autism population, you can start by checking off all the boxes that you would check off with the neurotypical or generally developing population. However, in the case of autism, the differences become a little more vast because, number one, we see a lot of motor and strength deficits in the autism population. If you look at the research, it's almost endemic. I was geeking out with one of our certified pros who's in our level 2 curriculum now. We were sending back and forth. Not to get too far off, but
meaning you guys are just so brilliant and speaking.
Well, no, it's how much we geek out on research that is being performed, but it's not influencing the day-to-day the way that we would want it to. So we were sending articles back and forth on the preponderance of gait pattern issues or gait pattern abnormalities in the autism population. And the thing about it is everybody sees it, and there's enough anecdotal evidence for researchers to start studying it. And then you get these percentages saying, most young individuals on the autism spectrum have some type of gait abnormality. So my way of thinking, and of course I'm biased being, the autism fitness guy, but I think, well, why aren't we doing something about this?
Yeah. It is something, and I think it's important that we're reaching all people, because people with autism, they have needs too. They are human, as you said, and I think in the world today, there's there's always someone that knows someone with autism. And I know they say that if you've met one person
Yeah.
with autism, you've just met one person,
Sure.
because they're all very different. But also as individuals, we're all uniquely different personalities and different things that, you know, we may have tactile, sensory defenses of, or, you know, or a certain shirt that might not feel comfortable or itchy.
Yeah.
So I think it
Tags
affects
and
any of us.
I refuse to wear long socks.
Oh,
I think I wore short socks to my wedding.
really? You're kidding?
Yeah, I do not want it on my ankle. I just no.
You love your ankles.
Absolutely, I do.
Love your ankles.
No, which is, you know, maybe it's partially why I picked this career too.
I could tell you have really skinny ankles, right?
No, I got to show them off. And
today, or do we see that next month?
Next month, yes. That's
next month, I'm going to hold you to it.
That's the teaser.
Because we really are looking forward to seeing, you know, some examples and some exercises and such that would benefit some of our people here. And also what you're doing, what you've done in the gym now that the gyms are slowly starting to reopen. Can you tell everyone your website again?
Yeah, absolutely. So our main website is autismfitness.com.
Yes.
And all of our social media starts with the Autism Fitness. So on Facebook, we're the Autism Fitness.
Everyone like that page. Everyone
yes.
Like the page. And this is the FitLife page.
Yep. They know what to do. They're already on there.
Yes, yes.
And we're easy to get a hold of too, because the whole idea, we have this thing we call the movement for movement. And that's, you know, educating and empowering, but empowering through education, teaching other parents and professionals working with this population that fitness isn't just something. And I open up, you were asking a few times in us interacting about the TEDx talk that I did, and I opened that.
Yes, yeah. And I wasn't sure if I should keep that secret.
Yeah, totally. No, that's.
Can we tell the world, shout it from the mountaintops. You are a wonderful TEDx
thank
speaker.
you.
Well, very
good. If anybody wants the link for that, we have it, and I'll send it to you. Well, it's in the signature of my email, so you can pull it there. But we're going to have that on the main page of our website too, also. And I start that presentation out by asking how many people think fitness is important in the audience. Of course, everybody raises their hand. Who's not, right? That one outlier. And then I ask everybody, well, how many of you think fitness is important for special needs populations? And again, who's not going to raise their hand? But then you have this chasm, Susie, and you know this between the lip service for it and we think fitness and actually doing it. And there's two parts to that. Part number one is the informational gap. And that's what we're here to supply, is the information, the structure, the programming. Part two is the initiation. And even though everything is relative lunacy with COVID right now and with lockdowns in some places kind of reopening. Here in Charlotte, North Carolina, we're at phase 2.5, which if you ask me what that means, all I know is that I can go into a gym now. That's all I know. And I can go into a restaurant and we're wearing masks. So anyway, but what this also, you have to look at what the opportunities are right now. And I don't mean that everything is paved with gold and just looking on the bright side. What I mean is right now is a time to reset and really, really consider and act on what we think is important in life. And for us with Autism Fitness, we believe that fitness should be spoken about in the same discussion as other areas of optimizing life skills. And if that's the case, then how and where are we getting our fitness programming for this population? Because to just say, well, it's great and it's an awesome program and I love the videos. Hey, we love when we get likes and we love when we get social media attention, but the whole reason behind that is to demonstrate what is possible through the curriculum, and that if other people couldn't do it, we wouldn't have a certification.
Yeah, and I like the fact that you extend the services to parents as well as educators and therapists and teachers. It really opens up the gamut there and allows people to get involved. Because I will tell you, Eric, quickly, is that you do have some parents that still feel they don't want to expose it and let family members or friends know that they have a family member or a child
Sure.
with autism. And we really want to remove that stigmatism and allow people to confidently be themselves and be autistically awesome, and
Yeah.
and and be able to use Autism Fitness and
Yeah.
the resources you guys provide, and in helping to empower and encourage and really improve the health and the sanity of people. So I really applaud everything that you're doing, and we are so excited to be able to get
Yeah.
to connect with you on a regular basis.
Yes, so am I, and that's the thing for parents. That was a big. You mentioned David Blumen, our Autism Fitness
Oh
business manager. Yeah, and he helped me develop the certification as well. Otherwise, it wouldn't be what it is today, with over 400 certified pros in 10 different countries.
David's
And
awesome.
a number of those certified pros are parents and family members. And an early discussion that he and I had was making the decision as to whether parents could be part of the certification curriculum, or it would be separate. But I have to tell you, the parents that we've had go through the certification are some of the most remarkable, intrepid, and really capable pros that we've had go through the curriculum, because they have obviously a vested interest in their sons and daughters of any age, but they are really there to learn, and they're really there to perform, and they have an inherent understanding of the needs, the quirks, and the abilities of their kids. And then they're able to bring this to to other families also, and they're able to relate. I say to the parents in our curriculum sometimes, when they share video or they share a testimonial, I'll say, you have to share this because I can't speak as a parent. I can't speak the way you can speak. I don't have that objectivity, because when you see your son or your daughter being able to squat or being able to press, actually enjoying carrying heavy stuff back and forth across the room, that is a perspective that I simply can't own, and you can, and we see it over and over and over and over
I'm
again.
so glad you said that, because sometimes as parents, we feel like we're not always being given that type of respect, or that type of almost that acknowledgement, because it's like,
Yeah.
well, you're not the professional, and you're not the certified therapist, and you're not the so then it's like almost in a sense of discrediting. So we're not really going to listen to you, and we're going to just go along with whatever the professional or the pros say, and really we're the number one cheerleader for our children. We are, I think that's an important takeaway as well too, because it really, they always say it takes a village to raise a child, and there's so much truth to that, and I think it's important that we are able to connect and do away with some of the frustration and the shame or the anger, and really being able to fully support that individual.
And seeing that success, not only seeing, but facilitating that success in real time too, because for the parents who are involved in our program, when they have their son or their daughter, their athlete pressing a sandbell overhead or stepping over they can see in real time that success. Like, there's no question about it. It's not, did they or didn't they? It's like, there it is, right there. Everybody can see it. It is a clear and obvious example of what is actually possible, and they're the ones who are delivering it. And to your point also, the more people who are involved in terms of a village, like if I'm working with an athlete here in Charlotte once a week, twice a week, awesome. But then if I have a parent who says, hey, what can we do at home also? How much more success are they going to have? How much more opportunity? Because now we're generalizing it, not just me doing it, but a parent doing it. We're generalizing it to novel environments. And that's the way that it's truly going to become a life skill.
Especially with the lockdown happening. Where the parents were with the child or that individual 24/7. So there's no break.
Exactly.
Sending off to school, well, at least not yet. And we definitely look forward to that. But I think that's very important because it's like together, it's like a watch. It's like you need all these components to come together to really make it work. So I think families need to work with you as you know, as trainer and the facilitator of these programs to really help us. And it comes together. And also you're helping the child, but also the inner child within you as an adult. I think that's important because again, it's benefiting you physically, mentally, and it crosses over emotionally as well too. It's really a win-win-win all around. And Eric, we're so happy to have you here. And for people, even if you're watching the rebroadcast, feel free to comment, because I'm sure that Eric will get back online and maybe respond to many people. And you know, Eric, I don't know if there's any last words that you want to say before our next session, which is going to be on October. That's going to be Monday the 12th.
Monday the 12th.
October, Monday 12th, 6 o'clock. And 6 o'clock will really mean 6 o'clock. And please forgive all of the challenges today. But we look forward to seeing you again and having you. It's wonderful. What is your tagline again for Autism Fitness?
Join the movement for movement.
Join the movement for movement and get a fit life. Thank you so much. Thank you, David. Thank you, everyone. Hey to everyone. Autism Fitness, you rock. We look forward to seeing more of you. And again, everyone, tune in. autismfitness.com. Make sure you go on the Facebook page, you like their page, follow them, check out the videos. Next month when we do see you again, Eric, I'm going to show some of the snippets and highlights. Okay. So
and for those who are really ready to go, our next class for the Autism Fitness Certification Level 1 begins on September 22nd.
Okay. All right. September 22nd.
And all that information is on autismfitness.com if you go to the certification section.
That sounds wonderful. Well, listen, thank you to all of our viewers, and Eric, your fans, and we appreciate your time, your knowledge, all of that wealth. You're making us wealthy here. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Take care. We'll see you all. Bye-bye.